Recently, I went to an exhibition in Kunsthalle München. It's a fashion exhibition called Fashion Statement. And it's from one of my favorite brands in the fashion industry called Viktor&Rolf. And so this episode will be about the brand, the exhibition, and my personal perspectives of their business strategy. Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of Fashion Brief. Remembering 3 years ago, when I just started my YouTube channel, I also did an episode of an exhibition in Kunsthalle München. It's an exhibition from Terre Mugler. And that's the reason why I'm so excited after 3 years, Kunsthalle München is going to curate another fashion exhibition of the Dutch fashion artists Viktor&Rolf. And the name of the exhibition, Fashion Statements, it's not hard to understand if you know the brand, because they always create art pieces, namely fashion pieces, with strong statements. As a fan of their brand, I always follow their fashion shows on YouTube channel. And this exhibition enables me to really see those masterpieces in real life, which actually touches me a lot. Viktor Horsting and Rolf Snoeren have been exploring with breathtaking virtuosity between the world of haute couture and art. And their design approach is undoubtedly unconventional. Their creations are embraced by artists such as Madonna, Tilda Swinton, Lady Gaga, and Doja Cat. Not only that, but also their pieces were staged in numerous ballets as well as opera. And let's talk a little bit about the brand and the story behind. Viktor Horsting and Rolf Snoeren are fashion designers who have worked together as Viktor&Rolf since 1993. And they are both born in 1969 in the Netherlands, and they teamed up together after they graduated from the fashion department of the Academy of the Arts, Arnhem. And in 1996, they fly-posted the streets of Paris to announce their own strike, a personal rebellion against the pressure to create a new collection every 6 months. They turned instead to haute couture. The acclaim that their couture collections received enabled them to return to ready-to-wear in 2000. And in 2015, the designers halted ready-to-wear production and returned once more to haute couture. And as I've mentioned before, the brand are known for their avant-garde and spectacular presentations that are even conceived before the design process begins. And in 2003, Viktor&Rolf launched menswear collection, which coexisted alongside the women's line until 2009. And until now, they only have haute couture shows for women's wear. Viktor&Rolf has both haute couture and ready-to-wear, and these two concepts present two different approaches to make clothing. While haute couture refers to handmade, unique, and customized garments, ready-to-wear is clothing produced in larger quantities in the factory, but still requiring manual labor. And while you might ask, based on the regulation of haute couture, those fashion houses should be based in Paris, and why can Viktor&Rolf count it as haute couture brands? And so basically, the Fédération de la Haute Couture et de la Mode is the organization that determines which fashion houses and designer can call themselves haute couture houses. And so to obtain haute couture status, fashion houses must meet strict criteria, such as making custom-made garments and having a studio in Paris with at least 15 full-time employees. And designs must also be handcrafted using traditional haute couture techniques. Also, and a collection must be shown twice a year during official Paris Fashion Week. And so since Maison Viktor&Rolf is based in Amsterdam, it's a corresponding member of the Fédération. And so in the exhibition, what I feel is that every piece has its own strong statement, either through wordings or through the structure of the garments, or just the way of the presentation in the fashion show. And bow ties are one of the key elements of the brand Viktor&Rolf, because they think that this is something noble, something exquisite. And the element of bow tie, you can find it at the very beginning of the exhibition from a wedding dress of the Princess Marble van Oranje-Nassau. And one of the most remarkable, unforgettable pieces for me is the wearable art in 2015 and 2016 fashion show. They leverage the frame and as well as the painting inside using materials that were on the models. Two designers were on the stage to help the models dismantle the pieces, and then they put the garments on the wall. Also, you'll realize that most of the garments are very structural and architectural in a very unconventional way. For example, at the very beginning of the exhibition, it shows the piece of 2023-2024, the upside down dress. They think their garments out of the box. Who said that models need to wear the dress as it needs to be? It can be upside down, it can be side by side, it can have a huge hole on the skirt of the dress. It can be anything. The sky is the limit. And also through seeing their pieces, we can always read their message clearly without further explanation. Such as, there's a very famous dress that has a 3D carvation of no at the chest of the dress. This is actually a very interesting story that they just are struggling through the creative process because they are under stress of creating fashion shows for the market. And that's the reason why they leverage their struggle and their willingness and their boldness to say no to the market. As I've mentioned before, they leverage fashion shows, not just an occasion to showcase their clothes, but also a process of art creation. For example, the wearable art collection and also the Zen garden collection, they leverage their garments to curate different kinds of movements and stones. Although all the garments are in black, but those pieces curated the whole fashion venue as a Japanese Zen garden. Another example is that at the beginning of their career, they don't have budget, and they just leverage this unique concept of dressing up only one model with different kinds of garments. And the fashion show is called Russian Doll, created in 1999-2000. It's this concept of making the model as if it's a Russian doll by changing the clothes. And with this occasion Russian Doll, they also created mini-size figures to showcase their fashion pieces, and which becomes their own way to archive their fashion pieces throughout their fashion shows. The reason why I love this brand is because of their creativity, but also a scrutinized way to plan, to create and curate their story. The stories are told in, as I've mentioned, multiple ways. Either it's just a normal fashion show, dynamic, live performance, etc. And basically there are no limits when it comes to their way of demonstration. There are not so many brands in the fashion industry has this kind of creative and this state-of-the-art vision when it comes to fashion show. Well, what I can say is that, for example, Maison Margiela, it's also one of my favorite brands. They always showcase in a very surprising way to the audience. And also, of course, the all-time classic and legend Karl Lagerfeld. And also, in my point of view, I think they do business in a really good way, because since 2000 they started their ready-to-wear collection, and 15 years later they stopped and focused on only haute couture. I think it's a really good decision, because not only can they save their time of creating their own concepts to evolutionize and as a pioneer of the fashion industry, this brings more value, and also this is their strength when it comes to designing. I also love their strategy of launching their own perfume. In order to tap into this cosmetic industry, it's not easy for most fashion brands. And they use this out-of-the-box way by creating only one smell and the replicas of this perfume bottle to create a buzz in the fashion industry, and which becomes a huge success. L'Oreal also came to them to create more perfumes, such as the famous Flower Bomb. The brands in the fashion industry, either haute couture or ready-to-wear, not many brands have their creativity as Viktor&Rolf. And I have to say, it doesn't necessarily that the brands needs to have this kind of strong statement, always scandalous way of presenting their fashion garments, but the most important thing is to stay consistent. And I think Viktor&Rolf did a very good job of surprising us by every kind of their way of fashion show. And that's the reason why I love this brand, because it gives me a lot of inspirations. And so that's the episode of the fashion statement by Viktor&Rolf. If you're in Munich, please don't miss this exhibition, because the clothes are so exquisite, mind-blowing, and it will give you a lot of inspiration. And also, I hope you like my new format of this vertical video. Let me know in a comment what you feel about this format, and see you soon.